Hi bass players, welcome back to the channel. Tatiana is here. Today I want to talk to you about what 7th and diminished chords are and how to play them. These chords come up all the time in jazz, blues and pop and rock as well, and knowing how to outline them on your bass will make your playing much more expressive. First, I'm going to talk through what the 7th chords are, then how to build your bass parts around them, and then I will touch a base shortly about diminished and semi-diminished chords. Let's go on. So, first, what are 7th chords? You probably remember what a major scale looks like. From C, it looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is 1 again. It's the same note, it's an octave. If we skip some notes and we play just 1, 3, and 5, we will get a major triad. Now we are adding one more note, it's the 7th, and we play 1 or the root tone, 3 or the 3rd, 5 or the 5th, and 7 or the 7th. It's here in the C major scale. So the 7th is here, it's the note B in the C major scale. However, in practice, people usually use the law of flat 7 or minor 7 when they mean 7th chords. Of course, the same chords can be used with no 7ths at all, just like the triads, major or minor. When beginners are not sure about how to play those 7ths, they often play just the triads and it still can work very well. However, the 7th can make your part really colorful. When you work with chord charts, there are a couple of assumptions. First, when you see just a letter, it means a major triad. So in this case, this is C major. But we don't say major, we just can say C. When we are talking about a minor chord, we say C minor, and it looks like this. The second assumption is around 7. When you see 7, it means the flat 7. And when you want it natural in major or sharp in minor, you will see 7 plus or plus 7. In this example, this is C7. You don't say C major 7, you just say C7, and it means the major chord with flat 7. C7 chord looks like this. You have a tone or 2 frets up from the 7th to the next root tone. Here it is C major 7. And the word major refers to 7, not to C, because we think this is major just because we say C. Now you have just a semitone up from 7 plus, or natural 7 in major scale, to the next root tone. Now there is a little bit about major 7th chords. They can look differently in the chord charts, but they are all the same. So you can say it like this: C plus 7 in the lowercase, or C plus 7 in the uppercase, or C maj 7, or just C maj, or C with a little triangle, and this is all the same chord. It's C major 7th chord. This is C minor 7. When you see 7, it means you have a tone up from this 7 to the next root tone. And this one is C minor major 7. It's a little bit confusing because you say minor and major together, but it means that the triad is minor, so the 3rd is flat, but the 7th is sharp. From the major 7, you have just a semitone up to reach another root tone. In most pop and rock arrangements, the flat 7th is used, not 7 plus. It's a part of music evolution through blues. Blues is a hybrid between major and minor, so the 3rd in blues can change. It can be major, it can be minor, but the 7th, flat 7th, is the same. It's kept stable and it unifies both scales, major and minor, in blues. So if you want the 7th in a pop or rock arrangement, It's 99% probability that you need to use the flat 7th. The third tells the listener if it's major or minor, and together with the 7th, they both shape the scale. For example, the 5th doesn't do it. It stays the same for major and minor. But the 3rd can change, and the 7th can change. And both of them show us what the scale really is. The 7th can make additional harmonic tension, leading the chord progression to its further development. And of course, the first note, the first letter, doesn't have to be C. It can be any note from A to G, and it can have sharps or flats. It just changes the root tone, but the fingering will be the same. And if you remember all these fingering patterns, you can play these chords from any note. Start with the root on beat 1. This is your anchor, and for C chord, C major, C minor, anything, it's going to be C. Then you can add the 3rd and the 7th. For example, for C 7th chord, I can play something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just played the root, the 3rd, the 7th, and I made a riff out of this. It can be like this or anything like this, around this probably, but the principles are the same. Another example is one of my favorite funky riffs, which I use sometimes on sound checks. It sounds like this. I start with the root, it's D in this riff, and the key is D minor, so the 3rd is minor, it's F in this case, and I also play the 7th, it's here, the note C. You can also connect notes with some passing or approach notes, for example, something like this. Okay, now let's talk about diminished and semi-diminished chords. These chords sound very unstable, they want to resolve. A diminished triad, which can look like this in the chord charts, and all of these options are actually the same, and they mean the same chord, has 3 minor thirds inside. It means that between all the sounds of a diminished chord, you will have 1 tone and a half or 3 semitones. Or you can think of them as a root, minor 3rd, then flat 5 and double flatted 7th. The C diminished chord looks like this. And the fun of them is that they are very symmetric, so you can go up with the same fingering pattern or even down. And also you can start the same chord from any note of this chord. For example, I can start playing the same from the note E flat or G flat, doesn't matter. I will hit all the same notes of the C diminished chord. Okay, from the note E flat, it looks like this. And it's still the same chord. A semi-diminished chord is about the same, but the difference is that it has 2 minor thirds inside and a major third. So it's 7th, not double flatted, it's just flatted. The C semi-diminished chord looks like this on paper, and this is the same. And on the fretboard it looks like this. C, minor third, low or flat 5th, and just normal flatted 7th. In bass lines, diminished and semi-diminished chords often appear as passing chords. They lead to another chord, and your job is to connect them smoothly into the next chord of the chord progression. In this example, the chords are going to be G, B diminished, and then C. Let's see how it works. In rock and pop, people often use sevenths to create riffs. For example, in the song Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, the riff looks like this. So we are using F sharp, and the key is F sharp minor. We don't use the third here, but we do use the seventh and the fifth. Seventh, 5. Another famous example is the riff from the song Seven Nation Army. In this example, E is the root, G is the third, D is the seventh, and B is the fifth. In jazz, sevenths are really important too. For example, look at this song, After You've Gone, by Joseph Davis and Turner Layton. There are so many seventh chords in the chord chart, you can see. I played this song on my channel, and in my bass line I used the sevenths as well. Here in the chord C7, I used B as the seventh, then through the fifth I go to the next root tone F. After F I take E flat, which is the seventh in F 7th chord. Then I take the fifth again, and through the passing note I come to B flat, and I take A flat because it's the seventh in B flat chord. Then I come to G with its major third, and I go to the root tone C of the next C minor 7th chord. And yeah, you can just follow this line further if you want. When you are building bass parts, don't stop at just the roots, and in your own music you are free to explore all the thirds and all the sevenths, and you can include the diminished and semi-diminished chords to create tension and smooth transitions. Experiment with them. In the others' music now you know what those symbols mean. That's where the music really comes alive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want, and drop a comment about how you are comfortable with all those sevenths. See you next time. Happy grooving!